Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. This is a video guide to beginners. Yes, the game gives you sort of a tutorial, but there are a lot of things the tutorials leave out that new players should be aware of, and I wanted to go through them point by point with this video. So, one of the things that players don't seem to understand, and this is a frequently asked question, is my car is maxed, why is it not running well? Well, probably because for many new players, the concept of maxing a car is simply to put a car to stage 5. That by itself really isn't a maxed car. All you're really doing is you're building a car up, but it's not by any means maxed. What is very important to a car build that a lot of new players tend to forget is that you must have fusions. Fusions gives evo points. Evo points gives performance. PP point, which is the performance point here, only tells you essentially how upgraded your car is. It doesn't mean your car is fast. It doesn't mean your car has the right performance, the right tuning. All it tells you is that, okay, I've added the parts. Your car is not maxed until all empty fusion slots are filled. And as you move to the higher tier cars, until all of your stage 6s are installed and the fusion slots are filled. So fusions are extremely important for performance purposes. And for newer players to get fusions, the quickest and easiest way to acquire fusions for certain makes would be to buy a dealership version of the make and then strip it and get fusion parts. Every time you strip a car, you will get fusion parts. These fusion parts then should be installed into the car that you're actually using. And there's no right or wrong way to necessarily install it, but my general practice is to install from lower tiers up simply because, for the most part, if I realize a tier has no fusions in it, I take it off when I use the car for live racing and other tunes. But generally speaking, if you have only one and you want to leverage the second one in a PC Cup car, you can always do it like this as well so you can get both in. In this case, I don't have another one, so it doesn't matter. But here, notice I had a rare, so I put it in, but I'm missing regular, simple uncommons, and here I got one, I'm going to put that in. As you can see, each time you put it in, that number goes up. That is the ultimate effect of what Fusion does. It increases the Evo, and when the Evo increases, performance increase for the car. Your car needs to have high Evo to be competitive. It also needs high Evo to beat each of the tier challenges. This applies to all cars all the way through the game. Secondly, one of the things that players don't do, and they should, is they should always budget to buy additional cars because that's how you get fusions, right? You can't do that with every car, so you need to take note of what cars you can do that with and make sure you focus on building cars that are in those particular brands. Why am I buying an 86 right now? Because I want to buy the 86 so I can strip it later when I get KJ's Toyota and fusion out his car, and that'll help me slowly move towards beating tier 2 without having to buy a tier 2 car. Also, continuing buying the GTI will help me fusion out my GTI, which is also important. So I have a T1 car that can ultimately get through other challenges. So this is one of the basic steps of building a car. The reason why a lot of players forget to do this is because in the beginning of the game, you can actually get through everything pretty much without fusions. My GTI is missing most of the fusions. If you look here, it only has 7. I have full upgrades. And even then, I have been able to get to KJ's final challenge, and I will be able to beat him and take his car. Here's another point that you need to know. One of the ways to judge if you're ready to actually take the crew battle to the end is by looking at whether you have beaten every race in the ladder. I can tell you the final ladder race was a 13.2 something. This car, without full fusion, as tuned, runs a 12 something already. So I have no problem taking down KJ and getting his car. This same strategy applies for every original boss. So if you are going to beat the original boss and you want to make sure you can win his car, you need to beat the ladder races. Beat the last one, and your car now has the right amount of performance to beat the boss and take his car. KJ is going to end up running something around a 13 something. I think it's a low 13s. But one of the things is you don't want to do this race at the end here without being ready, because once you beat him here, you're going to jump right into the Pink's race. Therefore, if you're not ready and you went too far ahead, you now will lose out on his car. So do not go through the crew challenge races to the end until you have beaten the ladder races and comfortably beaten it. These T1 cars, particularly GTI, will run about 2/10 under whatever the dyno says. So you're going to do well. Even if you're at 12.8 or even 13.0 dyno, you can beat it. But again, T1, they make it really easy. You get all stage 5 upgrades, almost no fusions, and you can get this job done. This will not be true as you move towards the later tiers. So understand that you need to be ready by beating the ladder races. The ladder races will make sure that you get the boss's car. And that also means you will not need to ever pay for the super nitrous, which is gimmicky but worthless. So I'm going to miss out on the super nitrous because I know I can take down KJ. And here he is. If I beat him, I get his car, right? So I'm going to want to beat him for sure. And I know my car is quick enough that I won't have an issue taking him out. As you can see, we're well ahead. And I know that to be the fact because I already beat the ladder races. I have no chance of losing to him. Looking at his time, the ladder race, final race was a 13.28. He only ran a 13.39. So he runs slower than the final race in the ladder. Therefore, if you beat the ladder, you will beat the boss. This is a trick for all new players to gauge when their car is ready for each tier of the original bosses. This does not apply to later on. We'll talk about that when we make a video as I hit Tempest 1. Because of the sheer number of questions and answers that can be involved with this, I'm going to do these frequently asked questions in different rounds of videos. This is the first of the many rounds that are to come. Let me know what you think. Please give me feedback. I always welcome it. And if you like the video, please feel free to leave a like. And as well, if you want to be notified when new videos become available, please subscribe to the channel so you get notifications. As always, I thank you for watching my videos, and I'll catch you next time.